For my video project, I will show you how Access provides tools which allows you to facilitate navigation through the data you have already created on the Access database. This will allow you, using macros, to open, preview, and export tables, forms, and different reports. And the creation of a main menu will help the user place all necessary data in one place, which makes for easier and quicker access to very specific data. For the sake of the video, I have already included some data in the Access database, and what we're going to want to do is go to create a macro that will allow you to easily access the forms and reports that you have previously set up. Each macro will begin as a sub-macro, and that sub-macro will have to determine what action we want to do. So for the first one, we're going to open the sales rep order data. There, we're going to look into the actions. There are many different things you can do when creating a macro. However, we're going to go and we want to open the form. So we're going to go choose a form we want to open, and it's as simple as that. This one you can choose whatever form you want to open, how you want to view it, and we're going to do read only. So that means the person who accesses this form is only going to be able to read it. And then we're going to repeat the same process 3 times just to get other macros in there. Next macro, we're going to want to preview a report. So we're going to go down here, and instead we're going to open the report, but how we're going to view it is just going to be a print preview. So that way when you're going to select this macro, it will just open it as a preview instead of opening the form itself. Our third macro will allow us to export the data. So the data will be exported into a PDF file, which we will select later. So here we just name what we want the macro to do. And here we're going to want to export with formatting. So we find the report option, the report that we want to export, and the format. So that's going to be PDF. You have an option to choose. You can do Excel, you can do Word. It's up to you. So we'll repeat this step. Once we have input all of the macros, we make sure that we save the macro under whatever name that you choose. In this case, macro navigation seems to fit. After creating all our macros, we will now create a form to display the shortcuts to the functions we have just put into place. For the first 3, we will use the control button. So you click here, and what we're going to do is just create boxes containing the different macros. So it's going to be miscellaneous, run macro. You select which one you want to do first. So you have to make sure that you keep them well, you don't have to do it, but make sure that you keep track of which ones you are associating with which button, and make sure that they all correspond so that when you run your macro, you get the right data. So here what we've done is just associate the names to make sure that it corresponds with the form that we're going to be opening up. And when you are done, you just click finish, and here's your button. And once you open your form later, you'll be able to click on the button and it will open the form automatically because we have programmed the macro. So I'm just going to repeat this another 2 times to have the 2 other forms open in the button form. Now I'm just going to simply align them using the arrange, align them so that it looks prettier when you put it into a form. And then obviously you're going to want to make sure you save your form. In this case, we're going to call it forms list, and then it will save in the navigational pane here on your left. For the remaining 6 macros, we will associate them with an option group control as opposed to the button in the previous one. Firstly, we're going to want to enter every name of the macros that we have created, and then we will associate them with each box. So once you've written all the names, you don't want to set it as default, we're going to program it ourselves. You have to make sure that the values are going to correspond to the values that we're going to give them when we select a macro. You can play around with the settings a bit. For your boxes, it doesn't really matter. It's personal opinion. And then here, you're just going to label what you want your box to be called. Now we must open the property sheet to label the option group. And we're going to call it form options. And we're going to make sure that we program it so that it's going to be after we click on it, you will create a macro. So you're going to create a macro here, and it's going to be a new macro so that when you click on each box, it will do exactly what you're asking for. In this case, you have to find the set temp vars, and there you're going to, here it is, I'll just find it. And there you're going to program the name of your macro, so it's going to be the option number, so we'll use an abbreviation, and then what that equals, so it's going to equal the form that we just set up, the form options. Now we're going to use the if function, so it's going to be if you click on option number 1, for example, then it will open this or preview that. So for this case, we're going to do option number 1, and I'm just going to copy this so that I can paste it later on so to save time. Then you're going to go over and find the action that says run macro. So I believe it is here. And then you're going to tell them which macro you want to run. So you want your first option that you set in your list previously to correspond to the one that you are programming now. You're going to want to add an add else if option to run the 5 other macros that you have programmed in the proper order. Once you have completed this step for all 6 form options, you will need to add a remove temp vars action to tell the database that your macros are complete. So here we're going to go, after we're done, we're going to go find remove temp vars, and what do we want to end? The option number that we created previously. Then you want to make sure you save your macro. Once you quit your macro, you want to make sure that you save this form as a new form. So you're going to save it, and this one's going to be the report form, and it will be added to the navigation pane on the left. And just to make sure that everything works properly, for the sake of time, I'll just check the first couple, make sure that it opens the right ones, which it does. Now we're going to create the main menu, so you go to the create and navigation. Again, you can choose whichever one you want. It depends on personal preferences. You're going to want to save this as your main menu, so you can find it in your forms afterward. Then you can give your main menu any title, so the name of your business, for example, mine could be Sarah's Cafe. And then you're going to then place any forms or any reports that you want to have on your main menu that you feel pertinent that you would want to have right away. So we're obviously going to put through the macros and the forms that we created, the option list, and you can rename those whatever you want to name them. It's your preference. And then you can also add, so maybe you think that your open orders are very important to have right on your main menu, that you want to have a quick glance at right away. And then you save that, and there you go. When you open your main menu, you have all your tabs there, and you click them and easy access to your information. So why are these tools so important? You can save an endless amount of data on Access, and oftentimes, as your number of forms or reports increases, it is difficult to access them quickly. The main menu tool helps you find what you need right away at the click of a button. The programming of macros allows the user to perform quick actions that they may need to do on a regular basis in their business. Therefore, all these tools make the lives of those navigating through Access a bit easier and make them more time efficient.